Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Play series, Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. This is Boxblair, and we have hit a milestone, guys. We've hit a big milestone, episode 50 of the Let's Play world. That's right, episode 50. Kind of cool. So I thought it was fitting that we make this episode a world tour, not just for old subscribers to kind of get a bit of nostalgia on the world, but also new subscribers. It's less intimidating to start from the start than it is to start from a world tour, so it kind of catches some people up. Anyways, I'm going to start with a bit of history on this world. So we actually started this world about 7 or 8 months ago, between 7 and 8 months ago, after our previous world was corrupt and sort of lost forever. Our previous world sort of went from episode 1 to episode 13, and then we started this world in episode 14. So the kind of gimmick of this world is that we started in Infdev, and then we moved to Alpha, and then we moved to Beta. So we kind of went through a bunch of versions along the way, checked out a whole bunch of cool little random quirks about old Minecraft. And yeah, I think a good way to think about the structure of the world, so it's not so confusing, is let's say these are the major areas, and these are sort of pathways between them. So in the middle we have our Infdev area, where we first started and kind of just did a whole bunch of building and sort of resource gathering and stuff. Then we made a pathway and we moved to Alpha. This is where our sort of Alpha areas out to the right. Also did some building and some exploring and some looked at some quirks and stuff. And then finally, when we moved into Beta, we moved to a whole separate area, generated new Beta chunks, and this is sort of where we are right now. This is the Beta area here. So if you think about it like this, it's very linear, my world, for the most part. So yeah, hopefully that makes it kind of simple to understand where we are in the world. Now, one more detail I want to sort of point out before we get started is that this world, has had its own issues over the time of us updating and my storage on my own computer and things like that. So the world seed is no longer the original kind of world seed that it was when I first started, nor is it even when I moved to Beta and that. So that's why you can kind of see there's ice and snow in places that don't really seem to make sense, because the biomes don't line up either. So yeah, just thought I'd point that out. And this also means there's chunk areas and stuff, which you'll see mostly in Infdev, but there are some around our Beta area as well, so you'll probably see those as well. I say they add character to the world, personally. Alright, so I think there's no better place to start than the start, and this is pretty much exactly the start. So right on this little blob of sand here is where I first spawned into the world. This is where my world spawn used to be. It's actually changed a couple of times since then. I've got a little structure there where it used to be, and it actually moved a little bit further away, which I'll show you a bit later. But yeah, this is our Infdev area. This is what we built. Everything you see kind of around you here, well, actually most of everything you see around here is Infdev. Some things were added a bit after, because they had to be. But yeah, that's sort of where I spawned. I came up here, got some trees, got my cobblestone and that, and then sort of came down here, and this is the first build of the world. This was our first build that we made in Infdev, as you can see, 11th of 6, 22. This was our first build, and it was very reminiscent of the build I made for the last world, and same with this castle over here, which we'll get to. Mainly just because I really enjoyed that world that we sort of lost, so I wanted to bring those things here and sort of get past Infdev a little quicker. But yeah, so coming inside here, it's pretty modest little home. I lived out of this for quite a while. It's got some stuff from Beta and Alpha in it as well, because I've come back here for a couple of reasons, which you'll see in a sec. But yeah, it's quite a modest little home. Sort of climb up here. This was a little viewing deck because back in Infdev there was no beds, so I used to come up here and sort of watch and make sure there were no mobs around and things like that. Made it a lot easier to sort of see them. Coming down underground here, we've got our storage system, which has expanded quite a lot since we really used it as a storage system. Sometimes I just come back here to dump, some more cobblestone that I don't need. I have some extra dyes and things in here, and I keep a lot of snow here because when our world seed changed, one of the times, I don't remember, which time, but our world seed changed, and it became a snowy sort of tundra biome, and it snowed here when weather was added. It started to snow, and all of the water here froze, and I did not like that at all. So I actually, the one and only time I actually manually changed the seed. I didn't choose the seed, I just changed it, and yeah, turned it into a nicer biome, and then got rid of all the ice and all the snow. So that's why we have a ton of snow in this storage system here. Now, down here is a mine, so I spent a lot of time here after I was pretty upset when our first world kind of got deleted, so yeah, I really wanted to grind out getting the diamonds, because that was like one of the hardest things to get in Infdev. So yeah, I spent a lot of time down here mining with iron pickaxes and stone pickaxes, and yeah, it took ages, but we eventually got all the diamonds and resources I kind of wanted. Now over there's a minecart rail that actually connects to our beta area, which is all the way over there, which we can kind of get back to. Now down here is quite an important area. This houses every single block and item in the game so far. Now I want to collect every single block and item in the game. If you're unaware about the series, eventually, I'm not saying soon, but eventually, I'm going to update all the way to the latest version of Minecraft. But for now, we're in beta 1.7.3, and I'm enjoying it. But yeah, eventually, this is going to house every single block in the game. And yeah, right now, we sort of have it labeled. So in the Infdev I first started in, Infdev version, this was all the blocks that were available. We sort of can come around here. There's a painting on the back of there to represent that. We've got all the those tools there, and then if you come back here, we've got all the diamond stuff. This is actually my original diamond armor in this world, which I might bring out one day and fix up if we ever get enchantments. And then here's all the rest of the stuff. So yeah, all of the things in the game are here. We also have this is the first alpha version we moved to, alpha 1.0.14, which added its own sort of things. I did skip some versions adding blocks and that when they didn't add that much. It was only ever when there was a major amount of blocks added that I would add them to down here. But yeah, here's beta alpha 1.2.3, which added the nether, so we've got all the nether blocks, and we've also got some jack-o'-lanterns and things like that, and fishing was added and things like that. So yeah, we've got wool added in beta. Beds, this was a big one. Beds added in beta 1.3. That was a huge addition to the game. Really helps in later Minecraft, which I think is good. And then yeah, this was the most recent addition. We're still yet to add the items from beta 1.7. They are in a chest over there, but I just haven't got to it yet. So yeah, that's what this room is. Eventually, we're going to turn it into a big room. I have plans for this place. But yeah, we'll do that one day down in the future. Now, you might notice there are some holes in the bedrock down here. So in Infdev, when you generate chunks, they naturally generate with holes in the bedrock, which is quite interesting. So some of these, when I expanded this room, I was able to mine in and mine down, and there was just holes, so I had to be really careful. In the earlier versions of Infdev, I mined down to, there are some instances here where there is still stone present, so I mined down and opened these up, but then we updated and stone replaced the gaps, which I could just easily go down and punch through, but I haven't done that yet either. So yeah, just an interesting random little bit there. Now, like I said, there are a few ways to kind of get to the different areas of the world. So you saw that minecart rail takes you to the beta place, and there's actually, I didn't show you, there's actually also an etho boat road that takes you there, but I'll show you that when we get to beta. But this is one of the ways to get to alpha. So you come through here, and there's a little sort of minecart station here, but this here is a minecart boosting station. So this doesn't work anymore, but basically there's a few minecarts stacked in here, and when you pushed a minecart off this and sat in it, these would boost that cart, spin around and come back, and that cart would go off and basically have infinite velocity, and yeah, wouldn't really stop. So that was sort of the quickest way to get from place to place before the nether, and before, powered rails were a thing. Walking is very slow, so yeah, this used to be the fastest mode of transport, and I used to use this constantly to go back and forward. Alright, and leaving the house now, I will quickly, before we get on to the big stuff, draw your attention to this guy here. So this guy was actually, well, I wouldn't say item duper, it was some item manipulation, I guess. Basically, the trick was if you put a boat in here, and as you can see, the items break because there's cactus sort of stuck in here. And what used to happen was, see how there's only three planks and 2 sticks? What used to happen was this would be doubled, quadrupled, sort of the drops. So you'd get like 12 planks and, you know, however many sticks. I think it was like an alpha 1. I think it was like the first alpha version we did at 1.0.14 maybe. I didn't actually put a sign on this. That's something I like to do on all my builds, is put signs on everything, date them, so that I can always know kind of when they were done. But yeah, let's take our attention to these builds here. So these were kind of the major builds I did. Well, actually, this one was the major build I did in Infdev, really. These were sort of added after the fact. Because I needed a way, when Alpha 1.2.3 came out and there was the Nether, I needed a way to get to the Infdev without having to walk, because I didn't really want to walk across these big paths that I made. So yeah, I added this, and there's a sign on there to tell you. And then I also had this Aether one as well, in the same version that Aether mod came out. So yeah, I think they look pretty cool side by side. But this is the main castle. This is a castle I built in Infdev based on one of the castles well, actually both castles that I made, or both structures I made in the old world. So I sort of had 2 castles, one that was like a brick one and one that was a wooden one. And the wooden one's gimmick was that there was like paintings inside. It had all the paintings, and then this one was just a big structure. So I kind of fused those together because I didn't want to build them both again. I didn't want to rehash everything I'd already done in the old world. I just wanted some kind of reminder. So yeah, Castle of Infdev, didn't date it. But yeah, this is sort of the inside, which I think looks pretty cool. I ran out of gold here, so I added obsidian, because I think obsidian is like, it takes at least 12 seconds to mine in these versions, because there's no efficiency or anything. So yeah, I have like these obsidian frames that were super expensive to put in, but I think they add a lot, and I think they're really cool. But yeah, we sort of walk up here, and there's a nice little walkway. You can walk all the way around the build on this walkway here. Out this way, you can really see the chunk areas that kind of occurred. So these chunk areas occurred in Infdev for some reason when my world first kind of changed seed. And I fell off, okay. But yeah, you can kind of see this huge chunk area across here, which is also Infdev generation, but yeah, from a different seed, technically. I am going to pillar up here because I noticed that the old way I used to get up was ladders, and these have a gap in them because in Alpha and most of Beta, I think, you and Infdev, obviously, you could climb up ladders with a space between them, but yeah, not anymore. That's a sort of remnant, which is kind of cool. And then yeah, we've got the grass on top. This is kind of the top level. Nice views, and yeah, we've got an interior with a bed and some sort of details in that. So yeah, that was kind of the first major build of the world. Alright, so moving away from the castle now, this was the sort of second major build I did in Infdev, which was based on a build we were doing before our world got corrupted in our last world. This is a weird chunk area here. But yeah, this is a cool little area, which is just a nice little sanctuary. I think I just called it the sanctuary. It's got some mob heads, so there's the skeleton, the creeper, and the zombie. This waterfall is a natural waterfall. It sort of comes through, and I sort of had to shape it a little bit, obviously, in the land to sort of come through here. That was kind of the difference between how I play Minecraft now in beta to how I played in Infdev. So obviously in Infdev there was no redstone, so you know there was not much like practical stuff you could put into a build. Like all you could do was build, you know. The idea was to build to make things look nice. So yeah, I build this little thing in here. Whereas now I sort of build with purpose. I make a farm, and then I build something around it. Now turning our attention to this, there's a whole lot of wheat, which I'm certain did not get unnoticed. The story behind the wheat is that the last build we were kind of working on in our alpha world that we lost was actually just a giant wheat farm, basically, inspired by the Valley of Wheat from 2B2T. And yeah, I just thought I really needed to kind of complete that. I thought it was going to look cool. I was pretty sick of mining and hoeing and getting seeds and then placing it down. I had to basically, this whole area, everything you see that has wheat on it, I had to hoe at least 8 times over. I think it might have even been 16 times. Like, it was a lot of times that I had to hoe this ground, and then, wait for it to grow back, and then eventually hoe it and put the seeds in. I had like multiple double chests of seeds waiting for this to grow. So yeah, but it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool project. It's kind of starting to break down a little bit. Mobs can trample seeds, so yeah, it kind of breaks down a little bit, but one day we might fix it up. So moving on from the wheat field now, we've got this build which was made in a certain alpha version. This painting was added, that's why I sort of added it to this build. Yeah, I basically, it was actually a beta version, okay. Beta 1.2, we added this. And this was meant to be kind of like a respawn point. So my world spawn used to be like here. It got changed a couple of times, but yeah, eventually it sort of ended up here. And I was like, okay, I can put things in these chests so that if it's nighttime, I can kind of recover and be alright. But the idea was that I needed some kind of punishment as well for dying, so I put some diamonds in this dropper here, so that if I ever respawned, I would land on the dropper and it would burn the diamonds. Now the funny thing is basically right after I built this, my world seed changed again, and my spawn got moved actually over this way just a little bit, right on top of this netherrack block here, which is quite funny because every single time I respawn, I start to burn. So I'm actually going to punch that out. Not that this is the world I'm going to be using again, but yeah. Yeah, so this is my actual world spawn now, which I haven't done anything with. But yeah, eventually we'll get back to this point, and we'll do something special with our world spawn. So one last sort of thing in this Infdev area that you might have seen over on the chunk board or over here we have to get to by boat. And that is my 100 subscriber special plaque that I made for myself, I guess. So yeah, when I hit 100 subscribers, we were actually in beta, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we must have been beta, and we came back here, and I added this sort of 100 subscriber plaque to the side of this chunk area. Now there's obsidian that lines sort of the bottom here with signs on it. That one just says thanks for 100 subscribers. But yeah, 100 pieces of obsidian, and the idea was that for each person that was subscribed, I'd add a sign with their name on it. So yeah, these are the people that sort of left a comment on that video, and yeah, let me know they're subscribed and stuff. And obviously there's some pretty recognizable names like Pierre, Toby, Agent U, Bocast, things like that, Santa. Yeah, people who've been around for a while, yeah, they've got their names on the board here. So yeah, obviously there's no real way I can tell. But yeah, if you comment on this video, I can add your name to this wall. It's really first come first serve kind of thing. And that does actually remind me that we did hit 200 subscribers not too long ago. So thank you very much for 200 subs. Hopefully many more to come. But yeah, it's very very cool that 200 people have been enjoying my content. So yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so that is pretty much everything in this Infdev area now. I do want to point out that there is a pathway that goes out that way. Now that leads all the way to the beta area, so to give you an idea of where we were, same as I kind of did before. So right now we're in Infdev right here. Along that path there, out that way, that's where beta is. Beta's out that way, we'll go there last. And then along this path goes all the way to alpha. So yeah, that'll kind of give you an idea of the structure of the world. So I'm going to go a little bit along this path because there is something I want to show you. And then we're actually going to go into the nether, and I can show you the nether there just because, yeah, the pathway isn't too interesting really. So yeah, just quickly, what I wanted to show you along this pathway here, there's some chunk errors along there. That was same as the one over there with the world seed change in Infdev. But yeah, this is my fishing hut that I made in 1.2.3. This was the version that added fishing, so I wanted to make a little fishing hut to kind of commemorate that. And yeah, we've got a little fish here, a little happy fish. On the wall, and then yeah, he sort of came out here and fished. Now, fish doesn't stack, food doesn't stack in this version except for cookies, but something that does stack apparently is fishing rods. So back when fishing rods were first added, you could stack them. They no longer stack anymore, but yeah, I've just got a couple of forbidden stacks of fishing rods, and I'm pretty sure if you use them, yeah, they both get used at the same time, so you're kind of not really getting your money's worth out of that. But yeah, we've got some stacks of fishing rods, which is kind of cool. Alright, so leaving Infdev now, this is the way to our Nether hub. This was actually the first portal I ever went through in this world. And this is sort of what our Nether spawn looks like. We have a little floating kind of platform up here. I'll go out there in a second to look at it. So out this way is our alpha house, our brick house, and our tundra. And then out this way is our beta place. So yeah, as you can see, it just goes 1, 2, 3, like I sort of showed you. Now, back when the Nether first got added, ghasts were so prevalent in this area. That's why there's so many bits of fire everywhere, and I haven't kind of cleaned it up. Only recently have ghasts kind of calmed down and not been so present in the Nether, which is going to be helpful because eventually we will be doing real projects that aren't just the Nether highway in the Nether. So yeah. In here we have a brick pyramid, and we also have our alpha house. I'll show you the alpha house first, and then we'll get back to the brick pyramid on our way out. So this is the way, this is the only portal to the alpha area we have so far. So the portal brings you out to here, which was actually our skeleton farm. This is our first skeleton farm. We've got a big painting in here. Obviously, this is when the Nether was added. But yeah, we actually kind of have a double skeleton spawner here. There's one here which we've turned into the farm, and then there was another one really close by right over there, which maybe one day we will build a modern one next to it. It'd be cool to have kind of the two side by side. The better way to kind of get out and to look at everything is through this door and up these stairs all the way to the surface. So that pathway I showed you earlier that has the fishing shack on the side is here. It's sort of completes its right here. We have some more minecart boosting stations along the way to get over this huge ocean, but this is the continuation of the path towards the alpha place. And yeah, this is sort of the entrance archway. It felt really barren when I didn't have this, so I thought, you know, maybe there should be an entrance to sort of walk into. Okay, but here we are. This is the alpha area, and this is when I first started actually doing some technical stuff in the world. So first technical thing we've got on the side of the road here is a sugarcane farm. Now, the sugarcane farm itself is completely manual, like you have to harvest it yourself, but the first technical thing are these doors. So before I started this world, I actually was I didn't know much about redstone. I wasn't the best at redstone. Now I've started to learn a bit more about redstone, as you'll see in the beta area. But yeah, these doors were sort of my first attempt at some real interesting redstone. Weird to explain. If you want to check it out, check out some of my other videos, and you'll probably see what's going on there. But yeah, sugarcane in there, pretty neat. So we'll start heading off in this direction. So the first build I did in the alpha area was this house here. So this is the actual. This is my alpha house. Doesn't have a sign on it, does it? Oh, it does. Here we go. Here we go. 8th to the 7th, 22. There you go. So yeah, this is our first alpha house, and pretty similar to the other beta house. It's got some extra stuff sort of left over in here. Biggest thing is dungeons were added in alpha, so we got a bunch of saddles because we went out exploring, got some mossy cobble, music discs and stuff. That's why it's such a big deal to have this skeleton spawner out here. That's why we come here for it. This was sort of down to our mine. We have a spider and a zombie spawner really close by to each other down there, but it's not too interesting. So yeah, we've got a little cobblestone generator that I never used. I just wanted one in my world, really. Interestingly though, if you this obsidian is reminding me, if you broke a cobblestone and placed a piece of redstone right there, where the cobblestone generates, it would turn into an obsidian block at one point, which is super weird. I'm not sure why that was the case, but it's not the case anymore. Over there is a library. It doesn't have anything in it. It's just an aesthetic build in the world. There's some checkers and stuff, which is kind of cool, and an old cactus farm. Not too interesting. Nothing too interesting over there. We have boat roads. So these are actually a very fast way to travel in beta Minecraft and alpha Minecraft and all that. You just get in the boat and travel across by right clicking, and it's pretty quick. That's another good little mode of transportation that I adopted in this area. These are remnants of how I was farming music discs. So as you saw in there, I had some music discs. I'd trap a creeper in one of these and trap a skeleton, and then I'd sort of just stand at the back and jump or whatever, and the skeleton would eventually shoot the creeper to death, giving us some music discs. So this building here is Pierre's Music Shack. So Pierre Dupont, he's a subscriber, has commented a few times, which is nice. And yeah, I named this Music Shack after him. And basically all this is just a random kind of building where you sort of walk into this secret little area here, and there's a music disc, and it's just a little vibe shack, which is quite nice. So yeah, then other than that, there's another boat road over this way. Now, I actually traveled out quite a far distance that way because I legitimately collected a bunch of clay, because I built something you're going to see in 3, 2, 1. Never mind that. I built this big brick studio, which actually took me ages to do. Now, I think I mentioned this earlier, but you can't crouch in alpha Minecraft. Crouching was added wasn't added for a while in Minecraft's development. I think it was in beta even when crouching was added. So building something like this, you were almost guaranteed to fall off, placing especially these bottom bricks here, fall off and die. So yeah, surprisingly it only happened maybe once or twice, I think, if that. And yeah, I didn't really die too much. I was pretty good at it at this point. The old slide and place method. But yeah, this is another building with kind of practical use. Underneath here is a mob farm that is designed by Etho, and basically the wait, whose shack was this? It has a name. Vocast, that's right. Vocast challenged me to build a building entirely out of bricks, so that's why this building came to be. So yeah, Vocast, another long time subscriber. But yeah, there's a bubble elevator in here. Bubble elevator. It's just water, and the mobs swim up. They come up and over and drop down here, and they would die here. It was never the most efficient farm, but I didn't really optimize it too well when I built it, but it worked, and it gave us some stuff. And then down here, this was sort of one of the last additions, I think, to the alpha area, and this was a cactus farm up here, which we'll go look at the top of. But this was pretty good when I first built it, but I think they changed the rate of cactus or the way they pop off or something, which made it slightly less good. But it has served me quite well, this cactus farm. So yeah, same as kind of the boat bridge, we used a minecart elevator here to get ourselves up, which is pretty cool. The problem is now that in this version, you can't actually right-click and get out. So I used to be able to right-click here and get out at each level, but I can't. But this is the storage room. Not much to sort of see here. It's just leftover stuff. And then this room we'll actually jump back into. Let's climb up here and... Oof, there we go. This room is why I called it the studio, because, I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of a studio room. You can kind of look out over the area, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I quite like this, and obviously building it out of brick was just the biggest challenge, because I had to get so much brick. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And also over here, I mean, bookshelves were a pain to get, and but that was obviously pretty good with the sugarcane farm, to be fair. And then yeah, the mobs would swim up here, and you'd be able to see them come up. I think this farm does still work, but it's probably even more inefficient than it used to be. So here's the top as well, just sort of, standing up here, a nice view, can kind of see everything, which is cool. And then a little staircase up here. This is my first kind of attempt at actually doing a bit of detail work. I'm not very good at it. It doesn't come naturally to me, but I think it was alright. But yeah, as you come up here, you can walk up these stairs, and it takes you to just a manual tree farm that I built. And finally, down this way, just over the edge here, if I can get out of the cloud, that's where the cactus farm, that's what it kind of looks like. Our first kind of little cactus farm here. Well, little. It was pretty big at the time. Yeah, I think a lot of it just kind of pops off and lands on itself. We have a better one now, so yeah. So yeah, that was basically everything in our alpha area. As you can see, it's a dead end here. We don't have anything further on the right-hand side of our world. So yeah, we do have this brick pyramid to look at, though. So the story behind this brick pyramid is that in a certain Infdev version, there was a structure that generated that was just a giant pyramid that extended from sort of sea level all the way to the sky limit. And I couldn't start in that Infdev version. I had to start in a later one where it didn't generate. So I decided to build my own. And this is kind of the result of that process. So basically, I built this in beta 1.7_01 or something, where basically there's a piston duplication glitch, which I'll show you that a bit later. But yeah, this took me a long time, and it's in the exact coordinates where it would generate in those Infdev worlds. So yeah, I spent a long time on this. It took me hours and hours to obviously mine enough to make the bricks, smelt the bricks, and then place them all down. I also built this sort of perimeter around it, which I haven't decorated at all. I just wanted a bit of a perimeter to walk around it a bit easier. If you want to check out the video of me building this, it's one of my most popular Let's Play videos, so it shouldn't be too hard to find, but I'll probably link it in the description if I remember. I also did an interior, and by interior I mean I made a floor. I just made a patterned floor, and this took forever to do. It took like at least an hour and a half on each corner, I reckon. So yeah, it was a good amount of time to be spending on this floor. And yeah, this is sort of what it looks like inside. It's pretty cool. It's pretty massive. Doesn't have any purpose right now. I just really wanted to build this and sort of have it in our world. Oh, and these obsidian lines here, which also took ages to mine, those in the Infdev version where this brick pyramid generates, it also generates obsidian walls on the major axes. So I thought I'd represent that like that, which someone also commented, which was a good idea. But yeah, this is the brick pyramid. It's pretty cool. Okay, so leaving our alpha area, now we go into our beta area. So this is the beta wing of our world, basically. So this is going to the right now, the right of Infdev, and yeah, so we've been in beta for quite a while now, and we've done by far the most amount of stuff in this area we're about to head to. And I've built a lot of infrastructure and a lot of cool things that I'm really excited to show you guys. Alright, so here's our beta house. Here's our entrance. We have a bit more corridor down there. That just leads to where I used to mine sand, but I no longer mine sand there. Okay, so this is where our portal is. It's sort of indented in the wall here. I built this portal after I decided to move here, basically. I didn't just like pop out here, I actually placed it there, because this is the walkway that goes all the way to Infdev and Alpha out there. So yeah, there's a whole long walkway. But anyway, this is the first build I did in beta. This is beta 1.2, and yeah, obviously sandstone was added, and birch wood was added. And then I think some of the dyes must have been added. And this is my dog. This is Ernest. He was added a bit later, I think, maybe. Oh, actually, maybe it was in the same version. I don't know. But yeah, he lives in this house. He sort of guards my house. This was my old storage system. This is where I sort of keep some extra junk that I have. In here, we have some more saddles that I've found. Some maps. I don't know what these maps are. That's just of this area, and that's the nether, so yeah, nothing too interesting in those maps. These up here are actually kind of special. This milk was milk I got from a squid, so there was one specific version that you could milk squids for some reason, and yeah, so I got this milk, and I'm keeping it forever as milk. I will rename it one day Squid Milk. This raw pork chop was from when I got the advancement When Pigs Fly, which I did over there, which we'll go over and check out in a bit. This pink wool was from the first pink sheep that I found, and this feather I can't even remember. So, we're going to head up this way first. Coming up this way, this was sort of the area. It's been pretty well developed at this point now, which I quite like. And yeah, you can sort of look out at quite a few of the things we've done. This cobblestone is the word I'm looking for, area, was put in place after this was, and this is the duplication machine I was talking about. This is the one that helped me build the brick pyramid. You walk in here, and yeah, so basically you start the clock, and then the pistons go, you place a block there, and then it sort of duplicates them out to here, and you sort of stand here and break away whatever you're duplicating. So yeah, that's sort of how I got enough bricks and clay to sort of build the brick pyramid. This doesn't work anymore in beta 1.7.3. It only works in beta 1.7_01, which is kind of cool. So yeah, and obviously I needed to smelt a lot of the clay that I made. So this is one of the first sort of technical things I did, I think, maybe. I started to play around with a lot more. Well, this isn't that complex, but you know, for me at the time it was a bit more complex. A little thing to let me drop down into here, which is a little tight closed space, and then walk out of this little hidden piston door. And this is my little smelting room. This has done me pretty well. There's quite a lot of furnaces, so yeah, I don't really need more than this. I haven't found at the moment anyway. Got little buttons on the walls to access some of the crafting tables, and then yeah, we've got some extra coal in here. So yeah, this is pretty cool. And then the way to get out is just through a little secret door there. This is to check the time, because yeah, sometimes it gets to nighttime and I don't want a mob to just blow me up. And then yeah, you sort of just jump out of the floor there, which is cool. Alright, so now we're going to move on to some of the more well-developed areas. So this here is quite a recent addition, and I actually tried to add some foliage and some decoration on the walls and stuff. This is my sugarcane farm, which I built into the side of the wall here. Now you basically just flick those levers and the sugarcane pushes out and drops down, and you can collect it at the bottom. I'll show you how that connects to the storage system as we go in, because this is the storage system. So if you subscribe to my channel because of one of my shorts talking about the half slabs, this is the infamous non-flammable wood storage system building. Yeah, basically it's lava resistant because wood slabs in this version act like stone slabs and things like that. Like, here's my axe, takes forever, and then here's my pickaxe. Like, yeah. And it's kind of unique to have a wooden building that's covered in lava. I'd like to build a few more of these before we move on to a version where you can't get these slabs anymore, because they're pretty valuable, and once you move on from them, you can't get them again. So this is my 50 subscriber special little thing. Basically, when I had 50 subscribers, there's 50 flowers for each one of the subscribers. So yeah, if you were subscribed, then one of these flowers is you. And then yeah, while I was making that video, I got a 51st subscriber, so I was like, here's a pumpkin. But yeah, I built this in beta 1.3. You sort of walk in, that's the same door opening technology. These paintings here, I pushed with pistons. Check out that video, it's pretty cursed. But yeah, that's why those are there. But yeah, this is what the storage system kind of looks like. It's pretty cool on the inside, and you look down and there's just sort of glass layers all the way down sort of to the bottom, which I'll go down to, some sort of lava walls and stuff. Yeah, I'll go down to the storage system. Yeah, there's sort of just, yeah, the generic sort of stuff you'd want, you know, extras. I've just kind of filled out the spaces as I kind of needed them as I came down. This doorway here, this leads to a 3x3 piston. You walk all the way down there, that takes you to the bottom of the sugarcane farm. So that's my easy access to the sugarcane farm, and that's how I get my sugarcane, which is cool. Walking down here, that goes down to a train station, which I'll show you basically towards the end of the tour. This is sort of my valuables room. So it's no secret, we've duped in this world, alright? We've duped in this world, and that's just the way it is. For me, it doesn't matter too much. Like, for me, I'm not necessarily cheating. Like, you know, mending exists. We can have some diamonds, you know, we can have some gold, and we can have some iron, you know, like, it can be a little excessive, but you know, it's more for convenience. I want to build some cool stuff, and you know, that's a way to get it. Now there is that was back when I could mine it by hand. Now there's a way more broken method that I don't really want to use. But this is when we mined it by hand. So yeah, and this actually comes down into this area. So again, if you've seen some of my shorts on this, or if you've seen the videos before, these are some cursed chests that you can make. Where basically, let me turn my GUI scale down. You can basically make 5-sided chests or 4-sided chests or 3-sided chests, and I basically filled these all with gold. That is way too small. Let's try that again. Video settings, normal. Let's try that. That's a bit better. We can kind of see that better. So yeah, blocks of gold. Yeah, it kind of breaks the GUI a little bit, which is cool. Now you're probably wondering why I wanted so much gold, and basically this is just for in the future, when I eventually update to a later version of Minecraft, I want to make enchanted golden apples just for shits and giggles. I think I will make a gold farm in the future, which will probably make this useless, but you know, we'll see. And then this is just some more, and then some extra bulk storage because I needed more for cobblestone and dirt because I can't let it all go to waste. So yeah. Now this portal here, this is part of that really broken duplication exploit I mentioned 2 seconds ago. I'll even show it off here. You jump in, you basically put whatever you want to duplicate into this. It throws out, it leaves a ghost block on the ground, and then when you move this dirt block, let me get away from that annoying portal. It leaves you with a ghost block, and when I right click, I'm actually creating blocks. These aren't fake blocks. They can be stacked and they can be placed. The only way to get rid of them is using that first duplicated block. So yeah, kind of a really broken system. I really wanted to show that off. I'm gonna, you know, really try not to use that. I feel like it's a bit too broken. But yeah. That being said, we do have a very lavish bridge over here. This is a bridge for a project that I started and haven't touched since, which is to this area here, which I wanted to convert into a very valuable area. I wanted to call it Valuable Island, and basically capture the nostalgia of, you know, that thing we all did years ago when we would build a house in creative out of diamond blocks and stuff like that. So eventually I'll come back to this, but for now we've got this pretty nice looking bridge, I think, over to that area. Alright, but just coming off that now, we have another contraption that I pretty recently built, I guess, and that is a flower farm and seed farm, I guess. Originally, you had to hoe the ground to get seeds, but when grass was added, you started getting seeds from the grass. So yeah, this is the flower farm. Yeah, really not that long ago, just end of last year. And it works pretty well. I've got, you know, a decent amount of stuff, and really all you need to do is flick this lever, and then it starts pushing the grass back and forward, dispensing bone meal, and you just right click, and sometimes you have to break the grass because it sticks around. But yeah, this is a good way to get flowers and all that, and obviously a lot of it gets stuck, so I have to walk through here. But yeah, it works quite well, and I'm actually pretty proud of this. I spent a lot of time on this on my own, and this is all my own kind of redstone. It is really janky in a way, but yeah, it kind of works quite well, which is good. And yeah, it's my own, so yeah, I was pretty proud of this one. But other than that, as we come along here, we've got some nice looking bridges. These were when fences were added. I don't know if that was kind of obvious. Fences were added, and I wanted to use them, obviously, to show that they were a part of the world. We've got something in the distance there. That was meant to be like a water slide that connected to the Etho boat road, which I'll show you later. But yeah, it didn't really get used for anything. There's also a little picnic over there, but yeah, they're just random little extra bits. This, on the other hand, isn't a random little extra bit, and still works. So this is built in beta 1.7.01, but it still works in 1.7.3. And basically, you stand here, hold right click, and the sand duplicates, which is kind of cool, kind of broken, but it's a good way to get a whole bunch of sand, and I think it's kind of fair enough when deserts are hard to come by. You don't want to destroy the beaches around here, and yeah, you don't want to inflame your world a bunch. And yeah, it also works for gravel, obviously, as well. On the other hand, this one was not a fun build to make. This was so tedious. So basically, I think someone said like I should make a wheat farm similar to the one I had in Infdev, but bring one here, and I was like, I like that idea. And I also sort of learned that you could put fences underneath tilled dirt, which is what this is, where the crops grow, to make it so that you can't trample them. So you know how earlier we were trampling the crops on top of the Infdev place? These crops can't be trampled by anything, which is fantastic. But pretty cool, I would say. And to go along with this cool kind of area, I made this barn here, which I thought was pretty cool. I quite like the design of this, and I also used 2x2 piston doors here. Now there's not much space in here because I made really janky piston doors. But yeah, they're on both sides and they're pretty cool. They're very seamless, and I like them. Now we also have a little hidden door down here that you can drop into, and this leads to the real wheat farm. So I made a wheat farm, and this is the real wheat farm. Yeah, basically how this works is pretty simple. You flick a lever, and then all the pistons drop down, and all the wheat kind of pops off and flows down towards the end. And yeah, everything kind of rains down. So I've made this little viewing area where you can kind of watch everything drop down underneath, which I thought was cool. And then you can also walk up here and sort of watch everything drop down, which I thought was cool. Now I'm going to have to collect these, otherwise my game is going to lag the heck out. Let's get in the water. So yeah, once you collect everything, you sort of turn around and come into this room, which has the wheat, the seeds, the bread, and then the bone meal, which I got from the skeleton farm. And yeah, this was the first piston elevator I built, so I actually love these sort of little contraptions in the world. So this is way better than a ladder. You sort of just walk in, and then it pushes you up the pistons all the way up to here. So I thought this was quite a long piston elevator when I first built it, but I built a much longer one a bit later on, which we'll see. Now there's sort of a walkway all the way around from our storage system, all the way past that, all the way to this build here. So when I first started building this, I was literally just like, I want to build an ugly cobblestone thing. And I think I succeeded. But I did make it a little more pretty as time went on. I added, the wood sort of frame. I added the trapdoors when they were added, and we added another thing on top quite recently as well. But yeah, this is basically my tree farm, and also kind of mushroom farm, which I'll show in a sec. But yeah, this is the tree farm, which I actually come back to quite often to get leaves and chop down wood and stuff. Yeah, pretty bland. There's not a whole much to see, but yeah, it's just a big space. I also added this part here. I wanted to make it make this like a flush with the ground sort of thing, and have pistons push up and out to like hide it, but I haven't done that yet. But I feel like that's something I could probably do. Now this is my mushroom farm as well under here. This is semi-automated. If I put that down and then put that up, yeah, here we go. All the lights turn on around the room, which is kind of cool. And yeah, we've got a big mushroom on the ground, a red mushroom on the ground, and then a brown one on the top, which I think is kind of cool. Okay, so that is the bulk of the builds in this area. Now, there is a way to get here and to the storage system a lot faster, and to the portal, because I was finding it really annoying to walk all the way from the portal to that tree farm if I ever needed wood, or to the storage system. So I built this, and this took me ages, but I absolutely love it, and it is the most practical thing I've built. So this is the train station, the subway system. So we can choose where we want to go from here, so portal or storage. We'll pick to go to the storage, I think. And then yeah, minecart gets delivered to you, and then you ride along the rail. It's so cool. So you ride all the way along, and then you jump out, and then it'll disappear and go into a storage system somewhere. So how this works basically is you come in here, a minecart, will come down into here, drive up, and then land on top of sort of a magazine of minecarts that are available. Now when I press a button on the wall, this gets powered. It powers this piston, which pushes that half slab, pushing that out, dropping it into here, and then it can ride off, and we can take it on our way. And that's basically the basis of all of the sort of minecart jettison areas in this place. So yeah, this leads up to the storage system, which I showed earlier. We can head back to the portal here and sort of get in. And yeah, it's really cool. This took ages to do, obviously. I had to do a lot of mining, a lot of resource gathering, and yeah, just a lot of patience to actually get the job done. And then obviously the redstone I had to kind of figure out, which was cool. Another place we can go using this system is we can ride the rail down this way. So down at the end of this main platform here, this is where my mine used to be. So up there is sort of behind the portal and behind the that first house I built, and then this is the Etho boat road. So I didn't actually say what version this was, but I'm pretty sure there's a video on it, and it has like the version in the corner, I think, maybe, I can't remember. But yeah, we've got an Etho boat road that takes about 5 minutes to get up and down, I think. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I built this when I was 6, so yeah, kind of had plenty of time. Now, this is a project that I actually did in my last episode. This is the latest addition to the world, and this is basically a big hole, as you can see, where I was looking for slime chunks, and I actually found a couple that were sort of over there and over here. And sort of the plan is next episode, if you want to stick around for next episode, I plan on building some slime farms in here. So hopefully they turn out pretty good. I'll build them and hopefully design them as well, make them look cool as well. So yeah, I plan on also extending this this road here to the slime farm and then out to a skeleton farm, which I also have, which we'll go to now. Although, before we leave this train station, I do want to show off the piston elevator here. This one is pretty cool. It takes a while to kind of go up and down. But once you get to the top, you can sort of walk up here, and you might be able to hear where this is. We've got a flush piston door with the wall, and then there is the portal to this area. So yeah, it's all very close by and very convenient. And this is the way you sort of get down. You press this, and you can kind of drop into the water there. So yeah, very cool, very convenient. Okay, but moving away from that main area now, we sort of head this way. I've started expanding a little bit out this way. This is our cactus farm, built pretty recently as well. If you go back a few episodes, you can kind of see it. So here on the side of the road, I showed off in the last episode, this is a boat piston door, timing piston door. You put it in the wall, it opens this up, and then the boat gets destroyed and the doors close. I described how this works in the last episode. This is an Etho design as well from years ago. From earlier, I had the pork chop from the pig that I got when pigs fly achievement. That's where it happened, so I built a little pig monument. And the last thing to kind of show off is this area here. So it might be a little bit hard to see because it's daytime, but coming up here, if I sort of bridge up, every tree you can kind of see in this vicinity has glowstone in it, and at night it really glows, which is really cool. So that was sort of in my spider farm, or just after my spider farm video, if you want to check that out as well. And speaking of the spider farm, this is the sort of entrance into here. You kind of drop down. This is a build that I'm very proud of, actually. It took me a while to do, and I feel like I kind of nailed the lush design of kind of what I was going for, like a cave that's kind of been built up and around the spider spawner. I think it's pretty cool, but yeah, basically you sort of stand in here, the spiders drop down from the spawner, and you sort of hit them, and then all their string kind of drops into here, which is pretty cool. And yeah, inside this spider-looking piece of wool here is the spider spawner. Another door that I am very proud of is this one here. This is a flush 2x2 piston door that broke just then. There we go. Now this required a lot of brain thinking from me, but I figured it out to have the pistons pull back and go into the wall and push out. But yeah, basically you walk into here, and this is a little storage room that I built. Yeah, again, not too long ago. Yeah, like a month-ish ago, and yeah, this just has my string in it for when I need wool and stuff like that. This is basically my string farm. So yeah, that is just about everything in the world, everything of note to show you that I've done in the past 7-8 months in my beta, Infdev, and alpha world. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you're new, you know, you kind of feel caught up with everything I've kind of been up to, and hopefully people who've been around for a while, you kind of jogged your memories on what's here. I have a lot of things to do. I've still got a lot of plans for this world before we even think about updating. So yeah, don't worry, we're going to be in beta for quite a while now. But yeah, this is episode 50. I think it was just worth giving a world tour. Kind of a catch up. A summary of what we've done so far. I think it's good to kind of do that sort of thing. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Share it if you're interested. Next episode, we're gonna hopefully be doing the slime farm, and yeah, that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters!